day, everyone. It is Hunter and Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoy this video, you guys should subscribe, follow me on social media, and become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel. So we are going to do an analysis today, and we do have a couple plans for separate videos, but this is going to be our sort of whole analysis, discussion, review about the episode. Anyway, let's talk about this episode. So if anybody's interested, the separate videos we're sort of thinking of doing are going to be about like romance. I think we also wanted to do one specifically about Oscar and RWBY, and I'm not sure, like, we'll talk about this a little bit here. I think that this episode is the best in the series, to an extent. Like, I think that, like,
really?
out of all of RWBY,
okay.
this is one of the best episodes. Maybe not the best, but it's one of the best.
Okay.
However, I still feel a little disappointed. Like, can you still love something and feel disappointed?
Yeah.
Like, because I don't want to be negative, you know what I mean? Like, we're not really like that. But at the same time, like, I feel like this would have been a nice fourth episode. But going into this episode, I was like, oh, they're getting their outfits. It's going to be sort of like slice of life, anime type situation where, like,
and
oh,
Lord
like,
knows
we
you
all
love
go
that.
to the Atlas Salon and, like, getting your hair
I really wanted,
done.
like, a
I wanted
sassy,
that,
gay Jonathan Van Ness character to show
you know, everybody's getting queer-eyed. Like, I thought that we were going to have something like that. And we didn't, and it's okay, but at the same time,
we had a peek
they keep
of that.
referencing stuff that happened, if that makes sense, right? Like, oh, are we gonna talk about that again? Which implies they've already gone through it, but they went through it off screen. Jean got his hair cut off screen. Blake got her haircut off screen. And it's like, especially with hair, and especially for girls, but I think Jean sort of did this as well. When girls go through a breakup, it's sort of a thing that you do something drastic with your hair, that you dye it or you cut it or like all of those sort of things. And so I just sort of was expecting this slice of life type episode where we would get into that. Does that make sense? Where we would get into all of the changes that they're going through. We'd get them to interact as a team together. You know what I mean? Because they have been a team, but they haven't had a chance to relax. Get the show don't tell thing, and I think there was some really good show don't tell in this episode, but at the same time, wasn't there also a lot of tell because they were telling us stuff that happened that we didn't get to see? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like with, I don't know how to explain it. It's like,
they
oh,
gave you
we
a
don't want to
synopsis.
see like people like, you know, standing around and talking or whatever, but it could have been team building and it could have been fun and it could have been, again, very slice of life type anime. And then we could have gotten into the action. So I understand where people are like, yeah, like we move past all that boring stuff. Now it's like show don't tell. Instead of telling us the weapon upgrades, they showed them in the scene. And I like that, but I also miss sort of the development and the team building. And there was some development between characters in this episode, especially. And I think that was really good, and that's why I'm like, this is such a good episode, and the quality stayed basically throughout the entire thing, and I loved it, but at the same time, I'm still disappointed. Like, is that normal? Like, I don't know.
It's like you liked it, but you also, it wasn't what you expected and what you were hoping for.
Yeah.
It was still good, but it wasn't
exactly.
what you
And I
wanted
think
necessarily.
that's sometimes like critics or criticism falls into that, where if you don't like it, you say it's bad. And so I'm trying to really separate it. I loved this episode, and I thought that this episode was really good and high quality, but at the same time, I'm disappointed. And my disappointment or things not happening the way I wanted doesn't mean that this episode was bad. But do I wish that we just got an entire episode where they were, you know, shenanigans a little bit, because they basically went here, they did the mission, and now the mission's done. The designated area is an abandoned dust mine. And so here's the other thing that got me this episode was, and we'll see this later in the Blake situation, this is the dust mine. It's heavily
Implied.
I guess, implied that this is the place where Ilya's parents died. But does that name come out of Blake's mouth? No, and I'm not sure if she just doesn't want to talk about Ilya in front of Yang because, like, there's some romance things with Yang, and obviously Ilya liked Yang, but, like, you can't even be like, this is, because Blake is like, this is where it happened, and we're like, what happened, Blake? Where Ilya's parents died? Just say her fucking name, sis. And so that bothered me a little bit, but anyway.
But then again, it's like, it's implied. We still
We
know what's going
like,
on
the
there.
audience knows, but why won't she say Ilya? Just say Ilya. Do they even know about Ilya? Because
They know, but Ilya was when they left for
yeah, but
Argus.
Sun was mostly with Blake. Maybe if Sun was there, she would have said Ilya.
Maybe.
Because nobody else really, maybe that's why. I don't know.
I feel like that's the thing where it's like that.
But Blake could have just said a really sad Ilya. Like, she could have just been like, Ilya. Like, she could have looked away and, like, did a fist grasp and be like, Ilya, like, to herself. And that would even concern Yang more. Like, who the fuck is Ilya, Blake? You know, that could have been pretty spicy. But anyway. And so the Grimm moved in. So we get to see the screen here.
Open case report.
Recommended course of action. Send in Ace Operatives to clear Snee Dust Company mine number 2. All right, so this is a vaguely new mine, I guess. Reported Petra Gigas near Huntsman, Post North. Do you want to read this? Go ahead.
Huntsman secured area, but were unable to eliminate Petra Gigas. The Grimm was seen retreating to abandoned SDC mines number 2, located in Zone 3. Wow, we really don't give names to shit. It's just thing mine number 2.3.
No casualties were reported. 3 huntsmen suffered minor injuries. But then this guy says that while people were, like, clearing out, people died. So I guess this may be before.
Yeah.
Like, because they said that people died here or something. So that's a little awkward. Open case reports, mission board. So they have, like, a mission board, like the mission board that we saw in RWBY Volume 2 when they all went to the thing.
I like how they also took those photos right after they got...
Why does it say name Clover, name Marrow? Like,
yeah,
why don't they last names? Hello? Did they just not want to give last names to these people? Because Clover had one, so maybe they just didn't decide on everyone else.
They don't have the same numbers that, they don't
I'm
have
pretty
the same
sure they said everyone's last name
do.
last episode, didn't they? No, I think it was just Elm.
In the credits.
Because what's Elm's last name?
Something, but I can't remember. No, I think, no, they had last names. I'm pretty sure in the credits.
Maybe. Anyway, everybody has the same fucking screen, so we don't have to do this. But yeah, mission stuff. Pietro is alive! People were like, Tyrion killed Pietro? That's the same door? And I was like, no, it's not. It is not the same door. Stop it. Like, whatever,
Our good
he's
boy
fine.
Still alive.
Yeah,
He's
for now.
okay.
I mean, he's probably gonna die of some terrible illness, as we previously mentioned. But he is okay.
Black lung, dust lung, I don't know.
Or something.
What it is.
And so, yeah, everyone's just going. So here's what I'm saying. Atlas military huntsmen are hard at work clearing out the surrounding tundra. But Recon has identified a powerful Geist. Like, oh no, I guess the Petra Gigas is different than the Geist. Okay, so maybe it's different because it's like, well, nobody died, like, in the report, but clearly people have died. I love their hats. Why is this so...
Why is that not, like, why not a helmet? They don't really look like...
Isn't this very, like, I don't know how to explain it, like, German-type hat situation?
It looks very, like, Navy.
Like, very European, like, military hat. Like, that's what the vibes are giving me right now. Smart enough to retreat into the mine. So this is, again, call back to Volume 2. If Grimm are smart, they know not to fuck with humans, or they know how to fuck with humans a lot better than Grimm that are young. Remember how Dr. RWBY talks about that? I see this. I really like that he looked back at the Vital Festival footage and, like, watched them and added some things based on that. Like, you're so thoughtful, Pietro. And, like, look at this, how they...
Ow.
I think it would be sort of fun. I don't know, maybe this would be a short video, but to compile all the Bumblebee moments in a specific episode. Like, every Bumblebee moment. RWBY 7. Episode 3. You know what I mean? Especially this one. Yes, exactly, with that music. But yes, I really, really like that. Labyrinths, chambers.
What I like about that is that he looks down and he realizes his hair is too long.
So this was really show don't tell, and
yes.
I really, really like that he's looking at the stuff. There's a little Piroshach, and he realizes his hair's in his way. But I was like,
I really
wanted to see Jean get his hair cut. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just really wanted this.
You wanted to see those locks gone.
Yeah, even Blake touches her hair, and I'm like, sis, I just wanted to know. Like, I don't know.
But even there, you get the impression of, like, it's kind of long and weighty, and she's just not
and so I really do like that. Here, I guess here's what I'll say. I wish that this was episode 4. We got episode 3 of Slice of Life. But if they really didn't want to add in the Slice of Life, I like the little hints that they gave to everything.
Yeah, you also don't know, like, the cool stuff that's happening later on that they then made room for by not having the Slice of Life. Oscar is the next Ozpin.
Oscar is the next Ozpin.
Yeah.
So what I'm sort of thinking right here is, like, we talked about this idea that RWBY overstepped. That RWBY, you know, it was Oscar's choice to make if he wanted to tell Ironwood about this stuff, because Oscar is the next Ironwood, not you, RWBY, and we thought that we would have conflict in their relationship, and there seems to be conflict here, but again, it's a flashback, and we missed it, and it doesn't really show enough on Oscar's side. Like, for RWBY, it definitely does, because, like, Oscar is just like, should we really be hiding things from Ironwood? And, like, RWBY sort of looks away, and I think we get enough in that look. But what about you, Oscar? Like, how do you feel about that? And I want them to really dig into that more, because if I were Oscar, right, I would be like, you know what, RWBY? Like,
that's out of your jurisdiction.
I'm the next Ironwood, okay? It's my choice to make, not yours. You may be the leader of your team, but I'm supposed to be the next Ozpit. I'm supposed to be
You don't even have enough belts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be, like, I don't want Oscar to be whiny like that necessarily, but it's sort of one of those things where it's like, he is the next Ozpit. He is supposed to decide what Ozpin-related information he should give out. You know what I mean? Not you. So I feel like eventually it'll come out of Oscar to Ironwood, because Oscar is staying behind to train with Ironwood. And so I feel like, that's how it'll happen, because I feel like that what RWBY has to understand is that even though everyone trusts her to make the right decisions, she didn't take anyone else's, I don't want to say feeling, she didn't really take anybody else's opinion into consideration. Like, she didn't think, oh, well, how would Oscar feel about this, right? Like, in that conversation, in my opinion, Oscar is ready to be honest with Ironwood, and RWBY's like, nope! He disappeared in the train crash, right? Like, it's sort of that sort of thing, and I don't feel like that was a good thing of her to do. You know what I mean?
But I feel like in these interactions, we get an impression. We see later that RWBY's like, just for the time being. It's not like she's really concise in her opinion. Also, I love Weiss's I love her everything.
Like her energy, the Weiss energy.
Oh my god. I love her so much.
But yeah, there's not really any talking here, but I did like how RWBY bounced to the bottom. Yes. Like, they all have proper landing strategies now that they're, like, adults and they're, you know what I mean, instead of just falling off the... Well, that was mostly John. But yeah, I really like what Blake does here.
Go back there for Blake's weapon. So they make a big deal of, like, weapons being manifestations of, like, an extension of your body.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that a slash of gold, like Yang's color, is the thing that heals her weapon.
And people were freaking out about that. And here's the thing, sis. Like, that's another thing. Again, it's subtle enough for us to sort of pick up on. Like, and Hunter's totally right. Like, Yang healed Blake. In a sense. Like, in their fight with Adam, the weapon was broken, but Yang put it back together again. And I really like that. But there are still some people that don't pick up on the Bumblebee subtext that we've been getting for 7 volumes, and so... At this point, with Blake and Yang flirting with each other, if they don't get it, they're a lost cause. But at the same time, even though this is subtle, maybe it's too subtle, because you can't really tell unless you do pause, like we just did, right? And you think about it a little more critically. At the same time, I'm like, the reason why we do an analysis is to inform people, so I'm not like everyone's stupid.
But I feel like I didn't catch this in the trailers, but like I did catch it.
There's
here,
another place of yellow though on her
like
weapon.
you can see it. Like, it's not subtle necessarily.
I guess so, but I really like how they land.
I like how everyone's all like taking like their time, and Yang just falls and then blasts once, and
I really like how they're like, I don't want to say together, because I don't think it's in a romantic sense, and we'll get like to this in the romance video. They're teamed up.
They were probably they could have been partners at their academy.
Yes, but with these two, they're seem to be in a romantic relationship. And we talked about this in the Aesop situation. Remember, like, they're supposed to be Elm and Vine, and it's supposed to be, like, the married couple, and it's all about how, like, vines support each other or something like that.
They certainly support each other.
The vine situation, how we talked about that, and they both have sort of plant-based situation powers. But I think that what I'm seeing here is, like, she is a lot more like Nora, and he is a lot more like Ren. And so that's why I think that they're together, because I think that the development here, and we'll talk about this more in the romance video, is for Nora to sort of see how Elm is and to see how, you know, Vine is, and it's sort of like entering into that. Like, they get to see not only mature huntsmen, but they're all, like, for Nora's perspective, she's also seeing two people that are in a relationship and fighting together. Because Ren and Nora haven't really gone into that before. You know what I mean? Of actually being together like that. And so I feel like, not necessarily role models, but it's paralleled. It's reflected. Like, Nora and Ren could be Elm and Vine.
I would even say, because what I find interesting about them, especially later on in the fight scene, is that we see how much better the Aesops are.
Yeah.
It's like they blow RWBY out of the water. Something I find interesting is that like these guys look like they're partners. Marrow and Harriet look like they're partners.
Yeah.
But Clover's
Clover's
doesn't have
all
a partner.
alone.
And it's like, is that maybe
Evil?
Robin
Oh.
Hill?
You think that Clover's partner was Robin Hill?
Potentially. It's just a possibility.
past?
It seems interesting that they just seem so perfectly partnered
Yeah.
up. But then again, maybe Crow's new partner,
Well,
you know?
remember Levi and how Levi has a squad of 5 and spoiler alert for Attack on Titan, they all die? Like,
Yeah.
that's sort of how I see this, is that Clover was the leader. Maybe he lost his last team and he's still the leader. Does that make sense?
So we learn about the guy he lost, maybe
the
Crow
people
and
he lost, right?
Clover have like a moment together.
Because remember, our theory is that Robin actually went to school with Winter, and
I'm just saying different possibilities.
I guess his last name is Ebby, so maybe. But the way that I would spell Winter if I was doing the team would be WITR or WTNR, right? I wouldn't use an E. That's just me, sis. Like, for maximum clarity, I guess. Like, sort of how coffee is spelt the way that it's, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but see how Nora looks at that? I mean, they're all looking at them, but see how Nora sort of, I don't know. I just feel like they both sort of use a hammer-type weapon, and, like, there's just a lot of... Look at Nora just cannonballs into the air, and John's just like...
I like how Jean's, like, sword
I like how
is on
John
his
got
thing
most
now.
of the attention here, just because
Yeah.
he, like, parachuted down, and I'm
Look
just
how
like...
nervous he looks.
Wow, Breath of the Wild looks great. There's just a bunch of, like, oh, guys, I don't want to tell
How
anybody
dare
what I
you
have
take my
played.
excellent joke. I want to my thing that I'm upset about is that we kind of lost the Pumpkin Pete's hoodie. Is that just... Does he still have a... Because it's a different
he must
color.
have lost it, unless it's a t-shirt now.
It's just different Pumpkin Pete's, like,
Merchandise,
paraphernalia.
maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
A Pumpkin Pete's tunic.
Maybe. It's possible.
I love so much Ren's new outfit. It reminds me of
I love
Tetra's
the
redesign.
dagger and just the
arm.
braid. Like, it just, It's just, and look at him. Like, arms?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying
Hammer, buff lady, hammer, buff lady.
yeah, they're trying to, like, do, you know what I'm saying? And we'll talk more about that in the romance video, but again. So I like how they just
Slide down.
They slide down and they just fall here. Somebody pointed this out, but the decoration here is the same one that is on Ozpin's staff
And also Ironwood's gun handle.
gun. And I like his little, look at his little
Aw,
crosses on
God.
his jacket. Crow looks so nice.
Why can everyone
Crow
get it in
looks
this?
like, Crow looks sexy.
I know.
Okay.
He can get it. Like, they all can get it.
And we're going to
I
talk
don't-
about this in a separate video because based off of interactions between these two, right, like there are already people complaining on the Rooster Teeth side and they're like, they're going to make Crow gay, they're going to make Crow, like, they're going to make Crow homosexual, like, people are so mad, but here's the thing, sis, it has been an ongoing joke in the RWBY fandom since its inception that Tai Yang fucked the entire team, and you know what would need to happen for that? Like, I see Crow with a lot of pansexual energy.
Tai,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I feel like Tai Yang had one gay experience and it was with Crow.
Yeah, why not? And so I'm saying, like, for Crow, I feel like he's always had that energy because, and I know it's a stereotype, right, that, like, oh, bisexual people are promiscuous and they're flirts because they flirt with everyone. But that's how I kind of see Crow in his youth, and I'm bisexual, so I'm allowed to say that.
That's how I see
Tai
like Tai
Yang
Yang.
as
I
well.
don't see Crow. I see Crow.
I don't
very
know.
much
I
like-
see it a bit more subtly, but remember the waitress was just
again-
like, lucky you, Crow. You know what I mean? Maybe it's people hitting on him, but he doesn't.
Because as we previously mentioned, the man is sexy. People
Yeah.
throw themselves at Crow.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But Crow just like wipes them off his shoulder.
I guess you're right, but I guess
That's
how
how
I
I
see
view
it is
Crow.
more like, because I know that, again, this is like, we're not going to get into like a sexuality thing, but the way people describe pansexual is not caring about like gender or not having a gender preference, and that's how I personally see Crow. Like, if Tai Yang is the promiscuous bisexual, Crow is sort of like, I don't give a fuck, I just want someone to love me because I'm alone and sad and can't make connections because of my bad luck. So I'm just saying, alright? It's
like-
not out of the blue if Crow is gay. It is not.
Or
Nobody
just-
would not expect that.
At
Does
this
that
point,
make
he's
sense?
like, I just want someone like in my life who I don't have to worry about like hurting
Exactly.
forcing them away.
Anyways, so we're just gonna.
I
and
like
I
the
like
new-
how this is again show don't tell. The first person who Blake clicks on,
Oh.
Yang, right? I think that's really interesting. And it's also like you can see everybody's aura. I sort of like that everyone's, I guess, aura is already drained because they use their semblance to get down there, right? Like aura and semblance go hand in hand.
Except for Blake, she didn't use hers.
Right, she just swung down. And so that's a nice, neat little detail. Like Weiss used her semblance, and so she's a bit drained.
It looks like Yang also fired herself up a little bit.
Yeah,
earlier.
Maybe. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah.
Because I remember was it just her going through a class? Also, I love the idea of Yang constantly getting caught looking at Blake. It's so wonderful. I love it.
Look at this, all right? We just
need... I'm just like, I wasn't looking at you, I'm looking over at the snow. And then she's like, oh shit, I'm just here, and it's about the hair. It's about the hair, not
Look
the
at
other
this
thing.
face, guys. Like, the Bumblebee shippers must be going wild.
We are.
And we are going to do a video about romance, not specifically Bumblebee, but like Renora and Bumblebee specifically this volume. So look out for that, but we're definitely going to go over all these moments
again. Why
does,
Yang have such, awesome, I know some people don't like her new outfit, and that's fine, but, I love the, big mechanic energy, fashionable mechanic energy I'm getting from her. It's amazing. I feel bad.
And so look at this little Kingdom Hearts hand behind that situation. And look at Blake. Blake is just Blake, little blushy Blake is just is it bad?
Also, motherfucker, isn't it cold? Zip up your many zippers.
Zip up your
arms,
You have
18 buckles and 15 zippers. Fucking do them up, champ.
No, it's good. Great, even. And then these two, look at that.
I like how Mero's all, sassy in a tsundere, and, Harriet's like, shut the fuck up. You love him. I love you. I love everybody. God, I love them so much.
What does his weapon say? I guess nothing.
I don't
it's
know.
Just... he has, a boomerang situation for his...
003?
For his weapon. I like how Weiss, it's really
oh, shit.
She just sighs. It's a long,
she already knows.
Disappointed sigh. Without heating or projected aura, the cold of Soleus can kill.
I like how they explain how they aren't freezing
quickly.
But
we kind of already knew that.
I didn't know that. I was surprised by that.
I was like, aura should
also,
protect
can we take a moment to just how amazing Weiss looks? God,
I know. Wow, you're gay for Weiss this episode.
I love all of their this is the most I've been able to see their new character designs, and I love them all so much.
I think Blake's hair looks better than previously expected. They have given it a poof. If you guys have never watched our channel before and somehow you ended up here, right? I have very curly hair under here when I'm not trying to be Neo for the day, and so I was a little pissed when Blake cut all her hair off and it looked literally paper straight. I'm glad that they gave it some volume, but I'm still kind of salty about that.
Even my fucking hair is more volume than that.
Really,
and I don't have curly hair in some of the paper.
I know, because her bottoms are curly or wavy or whatever.
Don't say her bottoms have a name, and her bottoms is Ilya and Sun and Yang.
God.
They have names. They're unionized.
I just meant when usually in my curly hair, my hairdresser specializes in curly hair. She told me this. If your hair works differently, great, but I don't give a fuck. All right? They said
Did you show them a photo of Blake and was like, listen.
And you have curly or wavy hair, your curls should actually tighten because there's less weight. When your hair grows longer, it gets heavy and you weigh the curls down. And that's why so many people, if their hair is really short, they'll have really curly situations going on. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to say. So they left Oscar, but we knew that because Oscar's training with Ironwood, presumably. And they say, can we talk about that again? And I'm like, again, because you guys talked about it and you talked about it off screen, and that's what I don't
But then again, I feel like everything that they talked about is things that the viewer thought.
I know, but people were sort of like, Yang's not gonna get angry, and I never thought that Yang was gonna get angry, but I did think that she would be conflicted. Because Ruby is her sister, she loves her sister, she trusts her sister, but Yang also has her own set of values, right?
Yeah.
I think it was sort of ridiculous that there were these two sides, Yang is gonna be rah, you know what I mean? Because even we said, Yang's gonna be pissed. But we didn't mean, pissed, hate Ruby pissed. We just meant, Yang's not gonna like that.
Everyone was gonna be concerned.
Right? And so I think that there's a side of, wow, Yang's gonna be angry, she's gonna hate Ruby. And then the other people were like, well, Yang, is not gonna hate Ruby. She's her sister. She trusts her sister. Yang, I don't know why everybody thinks Yang is gonna have a problem. But Yang can have a problem and be conflicted. She can have a problem and think that Ruby, you're my sister. I trust you. I believe in you, but I have my own morals and values and stuff like that, and I don't know. It's fine for them to be hesitant, and it's fine for them. You can feel multiple things at once. I don't feel like people understand that. Like, not everything has to be the extreme of one side or the other, where a character is either 1 or 2. They can be like 3, and 3 can be a mixture of 1 and 2. And I feel like that's what this is. She's not angry, but she's like concerned, and she's conflicted.
I also love the texturing on the inside of the fur of her jacket.
Yeah, I think that's really nice, actually.
It's like foamy. I dig it.
And see, look at her face. Like, it's just, she's worried. That's all. And so RWBY says that they will, and, you know...
And I
like what Blake says. The general's heart seems to be in the right place, but that doesn't mean we should trust him yet. Because that's what I was sort of thinking. Like, Ironwood seems like he has good... You know what I mean? Like, Ironwood has good energy.
I feel like the people who are, like, really paranoid are RWBY and Blake. And not paranoid for good reason, because a lot of people who were in power, whom they both trusted, did betray them.
That's true.
So I feel like it's really in character. And it's like, they're not, like, totally, like, on board either way.
And I like
You're
how
right,
Weiss said... We need to play along for a while before we make any decisions. And, like, you see how much everyone's character fits in here. We talked about this before. RWBY was basically betrayed by Lionheart, and, like, all these adults in her life have lied to her. Blake, it's the same thing with, like, the White Fang and these adults that she trusted, right? And when it comes to Weiss, this is totally Weiss's MO of just playing along with Jock and playing along with, you know, all the fucked up stuff going on in her family and all that. Right? Okay, how did Oscar feel about that? And I like how somebody actually asked how Oscar feels, because that's all I've been sort of saying. You know, and so we sort of get into it, you know, ancient relic on a keychain.
God.
RWBY hiding things from Ironwood. Doesn't that feel like what Ozpin did to us? And she just looks away. Like, we never go back to, like...
But also, like, that look says a lot. That look where she feels guilty.
I know, that look says a lot about RWBY, but what about Oscar? And I do think that they'll explore it, so I'm not mad that we're not getting all the answers right now, but I really would have liked them for Oscar to have even a hint of resentment there, because he's supposed to be Ozpin, right? Like, he should get to decide and all that stuff. And so, gotta say, I'm not really used to working with other huntsmen in the field. That's my Crow voice. And so Clover's just like, you were on a team before, weren't you? And he sighs and he's like, a long time ago.
We were freaking out in the reaction. We're like, Team Stark, are we gonna learn more about Team Stark?
No. And so, look at this.
Raven... Okay? Wait, I'm sorry, go back. Is that a bulge?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait a second.
Why did you pause?
I just saw that. Hold on. Look at this. Crow has a why?
Wow.
Oh my god.
Crow's packing wow, like the cold really ain't affecting you, is it, Crow? Anyways, so Crow is...
Wow. So, and look, you even, like, I don't want to look at Crow's dick, okay? But... It just sort of goes, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's...
That could be bunching of the pants, you don't know.
You know, anyway.
It's not necessarily
I like how he grabs him. This is a weird, like, free shot, but yeah. I really like that. I really like this, scene
I love when no Pug go back there for a second. He's like, oh, shit. Like, play it off, no one can see it, play it off.
Anyways, so this is the moment. Man. It feels like we're an actual huntsman team. Okay.
Look at that face.
I like what you did with your outfit, Ren. And then Ren's just like...
I should probably...
I'm just like, Ren! What the fuck?
But he's not wrong, because they get attacked 5 seconds from now.
Like, Nora's just... she's just, like, so sad. But here's what I love about this scene, and here's what I want to talk about in the romance video. I don't even know how to verbalize this. The feeling when John comes over here with this look on his face and says, I like your outfit, Nora.
And Nora's just like, I didn't ask you, third wheel.
Face. Oh my god. Like, John's just trying to be like a pure cinnamon roll. And like, guys, I don't usually like Sean. I love Sean this season, okay? Like, I just love how innocent that is. I like your outfit, Nora. Like, Sean, no. I mean, does this give more power to the polyamorous relationship of Jean, Nora, and Ren?
I don't think
yes.
It does.
Was it the intention?
I don't necessarily think
was
that's
that
true.
the intention? No, the whole point
Are
is...
you saying that John wants to bang Nora, Nora wants to bang Ren, and Ren wants to bang John?
I'm just saying people
that's
that
more
like
feasible.
the no. I'm saying that people that like the polyamorous ship, like that may like help them a little bit. But like what we have here is a case of the third wheel, and I love that John is just so innocent that he
just rolls off his back.
Genuinely just doing a good thing there. You know what I mean? Like oh my god.
I like how he saw
that.
that and it was like, time to be a team leader, Pops Collar. I like your outfit too.
I love that. I love how he's characterized here. There's so much to just love about this episode. Calxiyn. Yikes. So here's where my beef was a little bit. Okay, Blake realizes where they are. She looks around, right? And Yang looks at her and she's like, you okay? I just realized where we are. Like, she couldn't, like, Ilya.
Yeah.
Like, and Yang would be like, who the fuck is that bitch? Like, who the fuck is Ilya, Blake?
I love
like,
how everyone
really would love that.
Like, they take a lot of count into, like, who's looking and who.
But yeah, this is definitely what happened to Ilya. And then Weiss is like, I remember how furious it made my father feel. And this is a weird...
diatribe?
Yeah. But I like how they admit it's a weird diatribe because you come in and you're just like, I'm not trying to dismantle the patriarchy today or whatever he says. Not patriarchy.
Systemic society. It was a pretty funny line.
I think it was funny. But I think it was definitely...
It was because he had something he needed to talk about, like the hole in the wall, and he's like, how do I enter this conversation? Well, most people don't give a shit about faunus, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, hole in the wall, see in the dark, and you're tiny, let's go.
Yeah. But,
the way they keep on flashing back to the SDC, I don't know if it's trying to communicate, like, this is a Shneen Dust Company mine again. Or I kept on thinking that it was going to explode.
But yeah, how raw would this scene have been if Blake, like, muttered Ilya and Yang's just here, like, excuse me?
Like, she like looks over, looks down, like, oh man, ex-girlfriend.
Like, who the fuck is an Ilya? Like, who the fuck is Ilya? And I know they know who Ilya is, but like, I don't know, maybe in the next episode, like while they're coming home, Blake will be like sad and everything, and Yang will be like, Blake, like, come on, like, we did it, we got the mission. And Blake is just like, yeah, well, Yang, I'm just thinking about Ilya, and Yang's just gonna be like, like, what? I would have really liked that, but maybe that would have been too forced. I don't know. I feel like, just say her name. You didn't forget about her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember we had all those theories that Ilya would come with them to Atlas, and now Ilya's not here, and I understand why she's not here, because that wouldn't necessarily fit anymore, but am I still sad that she's not here, and they can't even say her fucking name? That's all I'm trying to get at. Anyway.
But, like, I guess it makes sense that she's not here. Like, she's working for the White Fang.
The jump scare of the episode, guys.
Well, the first of two jump scares of the episode.
I screamed during the reaction.
Yeah,
I was just like,
uh-oh.
I like how she says, Blake, stand
arm.
back, even though if Blake went backwards, she would be closer to the wall that she entered from, right? And so it's just like, we're just gonna break through the wall.
I fucking love her, like, Iron Man robot arm thing. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly, like, her semblance is speed, but this is pretty powerful as well, so I'm just like, I wonder if her semblance is a bit more complicated as well. Like, it's not just
because it's also like speed and electricity. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's enhancement of
but also that could just be like the mechanical aspects of it make it so she's stronger. This is my favorite intro of a Grimm ever, how they spin out of the ground.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw it in the trailer, and there's not much to say about
I felt
this.
more impactful here.
Yeah.
And I really do love this fight scene. I love seeing all of the new...
Yeah. Like, look at RWBY just... And, like, I really just like to see everyone fighting here. And I like everyone trying out their new stuff. So Yang has something where the dust sits on the Grimm.
Like mines, almost.
Yeah, and you guys can see that. Like, they're mines, and then
I feel like we're gonna get creative use of that. Oh, this was the best one, where she cuts it, and then she presses the button, and
then
swings
it rotates, like, 360-degree scythe action, sis. I really like that. What else did I like? I don't think Weiss did anything super different. This guy is a fucking boomerang or something.
A boomerang chainsaw?
Yeah,
thing?
like, see how it chainsaw, and then it comes back? I'm like...
Crikey.
Like, what is this? Like, I love it
I think we missed it. Oh, yeah, and he says, stay, and he's able to slow stuff down. Yeah. It's so dope.
I guess they're frozen in time. So, here's the thing. Time-based semblances can be tricky.
Is it time or is it momentum? That they experience
pause
time the same
totally.
amount.
Like, here's the thing, okay? Code Geass has a time situation right now, and I like how they've handled it. You have to handle time
like
very
sphere.
carefully, right? Because sometimes it gets complicated if time goes by for everyone and not for you, or even the vice versa. Like, time doesn't go by for you, but it still goes by for... Wait, is that the same thing? Anyway, my point is time stuff could be complicated. The Grimm...
so complicated that I got confused in my explanation of it.
could be frozen in time, but everyone else is still moving, as opposed to some time semblance where everyone else would still be moving, but it's like you move super fast to their eyes.
Yes.
Even though, what anime did that? I don't know. It was something where...
It was Fairy Tail.
Maybe. Where everything was frozen, and then, like, say that he moved up and stabbed the Grimm.
Yes.
Everybody would just see him
that's not
disappearing, reappearing, and stabbing the Grimm, but really he paused all of time. And when you pause all of time, that gets a little complicated, sis, because it's like, well, did you pause time around here? Is everybody 3 seconds behind of where they were before? But I really like how they did this. I feel like
it would be less confusing if it was, but I like how she just, like, knows
But yeah, I know, I think it makes more sense for these things to freeze and everything else to go on. Like, that seems much more useful of a semblance and stopping everything.
Also,
you know what it was too? It was Jin. We were like, Jin stopped time, but has the whole world stopped? Have they just stopped? Like, we didn't know, sis.
Also, you don't see it earlier, but sort of, or you didn't catch it earlier because it is so quick and it is flashy. But Blake has like that throwy, spinny thing with the ribbon and bamboo shroud. And
I didn't think that was important.
No, but the only last time she used it was in the Black trailer.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
So it's a long time coming again.
I like how Jean
looks.
What is this freeze frame?
That was your face when you saw Crow's
I thought Nora slapped him on the ass, but I guess he
just pushed him forward.
I kind of would have liked that a little better. But anyways, contact. Okay, so they're all sort of, they have different powers, obviously, but they complement each other. Again, it's the elm and the vine.
I guess, they have stretchy arms and stretchy feet.
I don't know what Jean is doing, but it worked, so
They make a big deal that, I love Ren's, like, shooty things.
Yeah,
they're wonderful.
Like, pop out. I don't remember if they did that before. I don't think they did.
I don't think they've showed anything special for Nora yet.
No.
But they're also like very like they're criticizing them slightly. Like, oh, you really rushed in there.
Yeah, I guess so. And they're just like, Weiss is like, I got it. And Ruby's like, no, bitch, I got it. And then she's like, none of you bitches got it, all right? I got it. And you see the green goop coming out of them. Like, that's
I love the, like, disintegration effect they're using. Also, Ruby's eyes are so big, and it's wonderful.
Look at her. She has such a cute face. And so here's the thing. So in the Ruby Semblance book, they confirmed that Ruby Semblance is bursting into rose petals. And so I feel like that this is what's happening here, is that for the longest time, Ruby thought that her semblance was super speed. And she thought that, let's just say she's thought that all her life or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's actually bursting into rose petals, and it seems like hair catches that to some extent. Like, it's not just speed. Bursting into rose petals makes you faster, like, you know, going in the wind and, like, all that stuff. Just because, like, if there's less of you, don't you move faster? Like, if you're literally turning into something like
you're more
rose
aerodynamic.
petals. Yeah, like leaves in the wind. You know, I can't float in the wind, but Ruby can float in the wind because she turns to rose petals.
Because she's like a leaf. And in this essay, I will explain
Anyway.
I feel like Crow's shotgun aiming isn't...
Exposed dust. Exercise caution.
Exercise caution as Crow's firing a shotgun.
Yeah, basically. Crow, I guess we don't see his weapon improvements yet.
Like,
I'm sure he has something.
like Clover Guy is the least interesting of all of the...
I don't think so. I like his fishing rod, alright? I think if he had a better visual design, I think that would be better.
I feel like Ilya's fishing rod walked so his fishing rod could run.
Maybe.
You know?
I really like what happens here. So one of the pieces the Grimm is trying to get is stuck in that pipe and, like, collapse. Whoopsies. And so I'm just like...
But he has good luck, so he didn't stop.
He didn't die. Good for him. Good for you.
down.
And so I really like the scene here. And again, we're just sort of skipping through the screenshots because I didn't really know what exactly I wanted to talk about yet.
Brings misfortune.
Yeah, so Crow just upright tells him. And so, is that so? And then he's just like... Well, my semblance is good luck, so everything's okay. And so here's the thing. Is his semblance actually good luck?
Or is he just lucky?
Or is he just saying that to Crow because it's a placebo? No, not even that. Like, what if it's a placebo thing? You know what I mean?
Potentially.
Like, Crow, I'm gonna tell you that my semblance is good fortune, so you think that you're okay, and we'll see how you actually perform. You know what I mean? It could be by the end, like, it's like Dumbo having the lucky feather, right? It's like, Dumbo, you didn't need the feather. You could fly all along. It's sort of like that, but with Crow. I kind of like that. Lucky you, Han! So that's like the waitress winking at him. This is where people are like, gay energy is going on.
I keep on forgetting to have freaking AirPods.
Here's the thing, though. We aren't going to talk about them in the romance video. Maybe we'll talk about this in the gay video. But Crow is like 40, 50. Clover and them seem like 30, 35. Like, I feel like, listen, all right? I'm the queen of the age differences. But...
Oh, yeah, and shipping it in real life.
That would kind of be a little... Like, I don't think that they'd put them together. I think, if anything, Crow would, like, learn to love, like, Ironwood, because now Crow has gotten over his fears and stuff of being close to people because of Clover. So, like, Clover will help in his development, but it won't necessarily be a romantic thing where Clover and Crow get together. Because I think what's much more possible is Crow being with Ironwood. Like, I think that even since the beginning, like, they've sort of had this, if you were one of my men, I've had you shot. If I was one of your men, I'd shoot myself. Like, they've always had a very interesting relationship, so I feel like what Clover will do is help Crow, I guess, get over the insecurities that forbids him with being with other people.
Something I also noticed about his design on his sleeve is that those things kind of look like the Bronwyn symbol.
Oh, yeah,
at
the
end
lines.
Yeah.
Charlie. Who's Charlie?
No, he's talking about the phonetic alphabet. So Charlie just means C, and Bravo means B. So I don't.
CB?
So they're Team A. They're talking to Team B and Team C because there's 3 teams, A, B, C. So Alpha, Charlie, Bravo.
Just call it fucking A. Team A, Team C, Team B. Good job.
But over comms, it can be difficult. Like it's hard to tell. But like Alpha, there's built-in redundancy there. So you're able to figure it out.
Charlie's stupid. Think of something else. Sis. I'm just saying.
Sis? Really? Are you gonna add
Charlie's
this?
like banana. Like,
phonetic.
This is like apple. Like, Charlie, banana. Like, that's what it sounds like. You got Alpha and you get Bravo, but they get Charlie. Like, that just seems kind of weird.
Well, it's also like an American
also,
system,
why would you say CB instead of BC? That bothers me. If they're Team A, good job, Team B and Team C. Obviously, my OCD is coming out this episode.
They need... Please, it's already a thing that exists. They're not going to be able to change the
Just
phonetic
make your
alphabet.
own system. This is a fantasy world. You didn't need to use the U.S. alphabet, did you?
Alright. It's not it's the phonetic alphabet. Okay.
No, but it's like the license plate reading, like...
A as in alpha.
Yeah.
D as in delta.
Anyway, exposed dust. What a concept.
I think Z is Zeus. Anyways. John
sweats and it disappears, which I kind of like, but is also
Wait, go back there?
Kind of gross.
Is Harriet wearing, like, chaps?
What do you mean?
Go back. She's wearing chaps. Okay.
No, she's not.
Kinda.
Not really. She just has, like,
weird
leggings,
pants.
Sort of, and anyways, stop it.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, so exposed dust that could vaporize them all. Awkward.
Can we talk about how much I love Elm? Look at her. Look at her big hoops.
Well, she's clearly already taken Hunter. So.
I don't know
you
if
can
that's
do a
clear.
really good Vine cosplay. Like, you're sort of pasty. If you shaved your hair,
wow,
you would have
fuck
that
you
sort of,
too, man.
You'd have that sort
You're
of
pasty and elf-like and like a fucking tree. You totally... fuck you, alright?
Anyway, okay.
Wow, you could do an excellent Neo cosplay. You're short and never have anything interesting to say, Cal.
Oh my god. That's not nice. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not nice. I'm upset.
I'm a nice character.
Said Elm is a lesbian, okay? These are... Ooh. Anyways. Ooh.
Okay, so the monster comes down, right? It added dust to his body. And then they fight. And so this is just a really, really cool
Is that
fight
a semblance?
sequence.
Is that his weapon? I can't tell. What is his weapon?
I'm pretty sure it's a semblance, maybe. Like, it seems to be coming out of, like...
Because I thought Elm's thing was, like, him, but using his semblance on her. But it looks like that's just her own...
No, she has her own, right?
Like her rooting semblance.
And so one of them has arms, the other one has legs.
Fucking
that's
Stretch
basically it.
Armstrong over here.
And so I you can see
The
that
teamwork,
they're cutting
like immediately
on this side, and they know what to do.
There's like immediate teamwork, and it's all them, and Team RWBY like can't even like budge in.
I know, except
they're
for
already
at the
so
end,
good at a team. But yeah, I love this. I love how they.
Look at how happy they are watching them too.
Sorry, go back there. Go back. Look at Weiss's face. Oh, Weiss.
But yeah, look at RWBY. She's
They're
just
just
so happy to see
out.
actual huntsmen like in action. You know what I mean?
I feel like we've lost a lot of like RWBY fangirl moments.
Yeah,
especially
and so
from the
got
first
them back,
season.
definitely.
So we got him back here. I also love the idea.
What are you doing, Clover? Like,
stop flirting, goddammit! How they're fighting, but they're also trying to pick up all the falling like dust. It adds like that little extra challenge that it's effortless for them, so it makes it even more impressive. And I just love everything. You also his good luck thing, and he's able to do this.
I really like this. This is fucking great. He yoinks!
I love how everyone's like, he yoinked it.
He
like,
yoinks the Grim out of the stuff.
They don't even know that that's his good luck symbol. They just think he's that good. And now they all have to grab a thing.
Yeah, maybe here's the other thing. What if Clover can control his good luck and teach Crow how to control his bad luck, right? Sis. Okay. But yeah, I really like this. I really like Harriet sort of going for it, but then RWBY bursts into rose petals and she grabs it. And she also hits the back of it. Like, that must have hurt, girl. But
like,
that's okay.
I just love how... It tells a lot because with Harriet, it's always so controlled, but RWBY's more wily that she flops afterwards. It's just sort of like that visual storytelling.
And we don't see what she does with her eyes. But anyway.
Everyone's laughing.
I really
also,
like...
the background is like Elm picking up RWBY.
Yeah, and
Nora's
RWBY's going,
celebrating.
we won. So they're all like...
listen, I want Elm to pick me up.
Anyway.
I love that. That is one of my favorite RWBY fight scenes.
That's why I'm saying this was such a good episode. And, all right, someone that was reintroduced wasn't just discarded after that one introduction. Like, he served a full circle purpose. And so this guy gets dropped off. And here's what I'm saying, right? I'm assuming that the military is who dropped him back off after they, like, booked him and he's on bail. I don't know. Or they just said, hey, don't throw stones at our airship again. Right? And so it's like... I think that Tyrion and Watts are killing people to make the military look bad, and we talked about that with the journalist. Now it's like Mantle freedom fighter turns up dead, last seen by the Atlas military. Like, that's sketchy as fuck, sis. And so, you know, he's walking around the same area where Tyrion has been lurking.
This also scared the shit out of me.
You would think, okay, 2 people have ended up murdered here, unless this is who Tyrion murdered and everything's out of order. Like, what if this happened before? But no. Tyrion's murdered 2 people. But it's like, you'd think that after the first person turned up here, maybe they would police take this area
I think it's
off.
a different thing because that last place had like a...
No, this place had the door.
It had a door, but they might have similar doors, but this one doesn't have the CTT.
Yeah, but it may be up there and we just can't see it, right?
But also, like, what? Is he gonna, like, mop up the gore? Oh, but that scared the shit out of me when he pops up. Typically, I realize with Tyrion is that I really like him in a fight scene, but I'm not crazy about him with dialogue.
Yeah,
but I
we
like
made a
his
whole video about
here.
how Tyrion was annoying last volume and people got mad at us, but I was like, no,
his dialogue is kind of rough sometimes, but this dialogue I really dug. How it's just quick.
I don't like the mix things up around here. Like, it feels a little extra. Like, because I don't even get that. Like, someone who wants to mix things up around here, like, you're killing him. How is that different than what they normally experience? Like, seems like a lot of shady shit happens in
It's
Mantle.
almost like he's in it, like, not to give a solid point, but just to frighten people.
Maybe. Like, what does that even mean? And
well,
he's
like trying to change the status quo, and I guess so is him. So is Tyrion in a broad sense.
But yeah, that's the end, guys. So we'll do separate videos this week.
That was a really excellent episode.
Again, I think that this was the best episode of the season so far. Definitely of maybe even the series. All right, like, I haven't rewatched the volumes in a while, but I would say, like,
I've been rewatching the volumes.
Very high quality throughout the entire episode.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so I would definitely put this, like, in my top 3 at the very least. I really just love this episode, guys. Anyway, we will see you guys later. Bye. Thank you to all the patrons over on Patreon who support our channel. Their names will be showcased now.